I don't really know how to start this video off. I never thought I'd have a dream involving characters from an animated adult web show involving demons and thirsty owls. This isn't how I thought my mercenary work would take me, and I don't think my mercenary work had any part in this. So, let us begin. That's a lie, by the way. I saw the advertisement. We start off with me and a demon in the middle of a park, who introduces himself to be Blitz. Yes, that one from the YouTube series about assassinations. The cold, frosty midnight air fills my lungs, and the equivalent for Blitz. There's very few people outside at this time, aside from two women who eventually leave our vicinity, walking away at a brisk pace. In front of me is an open portal to hell. How did I get here? I don't know, but if past experience has taught me anything, it's that I should go into that portal, since that's where I'm needed the most, and that's where I'll get my answers. As we jump through the portal, I emerge to a dimension in absolute chaos. The smell of sulfur and sin made its room in my lungs, replacing the cold midnight air. The goth grey crimson sky extends as far as my eyes could see, and the city around me is the worst it's probably ever been. All I know is that I want to talk to whatever demons, imps and hellhounds there are still left. Basically, anyone that doesn't have the power to turn me into stone. So owls, overlords and radio demons are clearly out of the picture. As payment for allowing me to enter his realm, I hand the information I had on someone he's been searching for, and we go our separate ways. But not before I pass on the gesture to someone else. So I continue my exploration, and something doesn't feel normal. And yeah, this is hell. People don't care about car washes or normality, but it still feels off. Do you want to know what I saw? Street after street. In some of them, armored vehicles and bombed out fighting positions. In others, signs of graffiti and looting had taken place, potentially done during and after what happened here. This pattern continued until I strolled into a small park. With nothing but a few benches and an empty stage, it would be highly unlikely anyone would hide there. Yet someone was hiding there. But hiding from what? I approached her, asked why she was hiding, but just then her face lit up. She cautiously sauntered towards me, both of us scanning our heads like crows to see if we were being watched. Confident that we were alone, she explained to me she was helping some guys set up for a local concert. But she never said how she got there, since a human finding their way here in the middle of the underworld is a pretty fast story for me to believe. But then again, I'm here, so that argument falls apart pretty quickly. Regardless, she told me she could give specific directions to wherever I wanted to go, but I declined the offer, saying that all I needed was the location of the building IMP resided in. While the location of the IMP building was nice to know, I actually needed to get in touch with the employees, since that's where I might get actual answers. So I followed the highway bridge, which led me towards the downtown area of the city. Hovering over the buildings, signs of life began to reappear in the city, and I was pretty certain I found the apartment of the company employees. I began my descent outside the entrance of the building, hoping that I had found my two assassins that might help me hunt down some answers. And I finally land both of my feet onto the warm pavement into Imp City. I make my way up a flight of stairs, and I'm stopped by a demon with a thick southern accent. His tail rattles like a snake. His black wide brim hat and farmhand attire makes me think this demon is hiding something. So after dodging every question he asks me, I head upstairs to the second level of the apartment and find the people I'm actually looking for. After knocking on their door, a short demon approaches me. She introduced herself as Millie and her husband as Moxie. I asked them what happened, and they explained what happened to the best of their abilities. An unknown entity appeared in the city. It terrified the denizens of hell. An aura of mysticism and eldritch horror terrified the local nobles, and even the most powerful flinched at this entity. One particular noble was not afraid of the entity, and he ended up disappearing for 6 hours. This was no demon or angel. It appeared to have no allegiances to anyone but itself and the void. It stood as an obelisk, No light penetrated its form. It unnerved those who came close to it, giving them auditory hallucinations, and when its eye opened, it did so with the eye of a lost god, disturbed by those who would stare and look at it, sending eyewitnesses into a mad panic. It also graffitied some buildings apparently. I'm not too sure how important that was to the report, but every detail helps. And then it disappeared. But that wasn't even the worst of it, because exactly 1 hour later, down to the very minute, reports of the appearance of doors and larger, uncontrolled rips in space and time began to appear, and a military force had somehow found its way into hell. They began to make their way to the site of the entity's appearance, with 6 armored spearheads. Curiously, their faces were all obscured by green-tinted gas masks. Their blood was dark and grey, perhaps purple. Moxie said their weapons resembled ones he'd seen on the surface, but he said their guns were different. Too different. At some point, around 6 hours after first contact, they started to retreat, and the only evidence of their invasion were dead bodies and burnt-out tanks. I was quite glad I brought along a tape recorder and a notepad, because when I checked over the audio, the voices of Millie and Moxie were quite degraded, nearly beyond recognition. I'm honestly not too sure why. I think it's a legal thing with the dimension, so I won't be able to play the actual recording here. Maybe when I'm a big shot. Maybe. It seems to be a recurring thing that I find myself in weird situations like this. But maybe you want that. Or maybe you want a reliable upload schedule. Perhaps you want to see more content of my other characters. I certainly do, but animation is hard. Or you're looking to sue after finding out I used your likeness for a character of mine. Just know that I plead the fifth. I'm not too sure what to do for the next episode, I'll be honest. I was actually working on a dream where me, Robert, Sandra, and Ambly went to a pyramid museum, but I never got far into production because I was making this one. So instead, things will switch over to the one who kills and hides. Colonel Yuri, over and out.